I've done a lot of things that I just look back on and sometimes cringe over. I get really embarrassed or frustrated because when I was younger, I was very naive. I'm 24 right now, but from the ages of like back in high school all the way till now, all of the failures that I've been through were so many, it's ridiculous. Like, I was scammed over and over and over again. I lost a lot of money. I have failed a lot of courses, and I've gone from career to career to career. And even though I've gone through all of those things, I feel like all of my failures have made me who I am today. So I actually listed all of my failures down to kind of give you a picture of what I've been through all these years. So I tried to get into pre-med. Did not work out. I got scammed into 4 different MLMs. So MLMs is multi-level marketing. It's basically a pyramid scheme. I got scammed into 4 different ones throughout the course of my life. Neutralite, Forex. You know that Walmart scheme where people just kind of sit or stand around Walmart and try to force you to buy Xfinity? Yeah, I got scammed into that one too. And career paths. Don't even get me started on career paths. I went from pre-med to nursing to clinical psychology to teaching to becoming a professor, and now I'm currently trying to get into IT. And the reason why I wanted to tell you guys this is because I feel like a lot of people, when they see me, they always think like everything comes easy to me. Everything is just handed to me on a silver platter. My YouTube channel just bursted out of nowhere. Everything just handed to me like it was nothing. But the reality is I've been trying to film myself and try to get comfortable with the camera for the last 10 years. Like, I started filming myself in front of a camera from the age of 14. I'm 24 right now. And the reason why I like to mention the fact that I failed classes, I dropped classes, I've had W's, my GPA suffered. Like, I like to tell people all of the failures that I've been through because it's made me who I am today. And I feel like even though those experiences were very painful, it taught me a lot about people, about society. It taught me a lot about myself, and it made me a better person. One of the hardest things that I've ever had to do was let go of pre-med, let go of medicine. And it's because like I didn't want to be honest with myself about the fact that I didn't want to go into the field. And when I finally forced myself to go into the major that I actually wanted to do, it was a very hard decision because for the majority of my life, I have avoided failure like the plague. Like, I refused to fail. I wanted to be perfect. If I wasn't like the top 3, like in India, I used to study there, the teachers would write down our ranks. So the top 3 or 4 people in our class were written down and our names were just there for the rest of the week. So I was always 1st, 2nd, or 3rd, never 4th, never not on the board. And it was because when I was younger, I always thought that failure was for the weak. I could not fail. I must be perfect. So I always strived for perfection every single day of my life. And the thing is, now that I'm older, I realized that my obsession with getting good grades cost me my social skills. So even though I was trying so hard to be a good kid and do well in school, my obsession with being perfect stopped me from having a lot of relationships because there were some kids who tried to reach out to me, try to talk to me, but I only had like 2 friends, and most of the time I wouldn't even talk to them. I was just head down, constantly studying. But if I did not obsess over perfection, I would have had good friendships. Another thing that really taught me a lot was getting scammed into MLM after MLM after MLM. I was a very naive, gullible, happy-go-lucky kid. And honestly, till this day, I am still angry that there were people who used that to their own advantage, to get money off of me, to profit off of me. And honestly, like, till this day, I am angry at every single person that took my naivety, took my gullibleness and crushed it. I am still mad till this day about it, but the reason why I'm not too mad now that I look back on that experience is because I literally had a mental breakdown when I found out that one MLM was selling Xfinity at Walmart. I had a mental breakdown. I was like sobbing in the bathroom calling my mom, and I felt so pathetic. And that's one thing that I can just never let go of, is just that feeling that someone literally taking advantage of you. The problem is that a lot of people try to say stuff like, oh, well, you were too dumb to realize, you should have known, you must have known that this would have happened to you, this was too good to be true. I've heard this a lot from people whenever I talk about MLMs, but the reason why I like to talk about my experiences is because when I over and over and over again getting scammed, getting tricked into programs has taught me that a lot of people are not nice. Just because they look nice on the outside does not mean they're nice on the inside. Like, people can pretend to be nice to you only to get something out of you. And here's the thing. The reason why I just never believed that people could pretend to be nice to get something out of you is because I never was like that. If I'm nice to someone, I'm nice to them for no reason at all. I will just say, hi, how are you, and be kind to people and expect nothing in return. But there were a lot of people who are part of MLMs that were only nice to me, who promised me financial freedom, who promised me a community, promised me friends. And let me tell you, I was very lonely when I was younger, and I always hung out at the library. I'm not ashamed of it now, but when I was younger I was very ashamed that I didn't have circles of friends around me constantly. But when I was younger I was very lonely, and they took advantage of that. So it's like when I kept getting sucked back and back and back into MLMs, I realized that there were people in this world that saw your vulnerabilities and took advantage of it. And because I did not know how to enforce boundaries when I was younger, these experiences taught me that I needed to enforce boundaries. And it taught me a second thing. So when I got scammed over and over, I became very bitter and resentful. I started to distrust everyone. Everyone who was nice to me, I was defensive. I never questioned someone's kindness before until they took advantage of me. Because I'm kind because I want to be. Like, there's no ulterior motive. But because of what people have constantly done to me, I started to question everybody else's motives, like, oh, why did you give me this? Why are you so kind to me? And I became a very bitter person until one day I went on Instagram and I saw this post saying basically if you let people who hurt you change who you are, they've won. But basically, if someone has hurt you and you let them change what your personality is like and make you change the person that you've always been, that kind person you always were, it changes you, then they've won. Because the only thing that those people should have taught you is to enforce boundaries. If someone hurts you, oh well, that's their fault. But I was in that mindset, why me? Why are people taking advantage of me? Why are people hurting me? I didn't do anything to them. I only been kind to them, and they took advantage of that. Why? And I was always so bitter and resentful of other people just using me constantly, and I was always playing victim. But when in reality, all I needed to do was say no. No, I don't want to join this MLM. No, I realized this was a scam. I want out. No, you can't talk to me like that. That's all I needed to do. I shouldn't have to change who I was. But I thought I had to become angry. I thought I had to stop smiling in public. I thought I had to change my entire being in order to protect myself, when in reality, all I needed to do was just say no. Another thing I learned about failing over and over is that it's not the end of the world anymore. If I got below 90% in any of my classes, end of the world. I would be bawling. My mental health would literally... When I first used to fail, everything just crumbled. I was I couldn't talk or speak to anyone for weeks. I was just a mess. And I could not get over the fact that I was bamboozled. Okay? I could not accept my fate. I was no, I have to wallow in self-pity and victimhood. But then when the second failure happened, I didn't get into a TEFL program because I didn't finish it. Another few months or even years of just self-pity. When I dropped out of clinical psychology because I realized psychology is not what I wanted to do, a few weeks and months of wallowing in self-pity, just constantly when I failed at something, everything crashing down. And I would just sit there in the corner of my room I can't move on. Until one day I failed something and I was okay, I can try again. If you fail constantly at things, but you still manage to get up and try again, no matter how much you fail, then that is not failure, that is success. So this is basically the point of my video. I have failed at a lot of things, but I've always had people ask me stuff oh, how could you keep going? How could you keep trying? How do you keep getting up and doing it over and over again? Because I realized that when you just constantly spend your entire life thinking about that one failure you did back then, oh, I failed at this, I'm a failure. If you keep thinking that one thing that you did not do well in life determines your entire existence, your identity, that is when you do become a failure. But when you fail and learn something from it, that is not failure. If you're someone that does not know how to express your emotions very well, There's nothing wrong with being angry at people who've done you wrong, but learning from it and becoming a better person is all you need to do. You can still hate the person that treated you bad. Like, there are some people to this day, I'm like, damn, even though I was gullible, even though I was naive, you didn't have to do me like that. You didn't have to treat me that way. Till this day, I'm still mad at them because I'm like, screw you. Why did you do me like that? You didn't have to like treat me this way. You didn't have to talk down to me. You didn't have to be all of that stuff, right? There's nothing wrong with hating the person that treated you bad in the past, but hating yourself for letting it happen, don't do that to yourself because you didn't know any better. And I think this idea of just failing and just being like, you know what, I quit, is something that is a very powerful tool that not a lot of people in this country want us to know. People don't like the fact that when you realize that something isn't for you, you can just dip. What I really respect about Generation Z is that a lot of people my age or younger, if they see something that isn't for them, if they're in a career path they don't like, if they're in a job that they don't like, they'll just dip. They'll just leave. And I really respect that. And I don't think there's anything wrong. Because I always tell people, like, I used to work a daycare job, nursing assistant, barista. I did a lot of things. And those experiences have taught me that, okay, I got into this field, I don't like it, time to go. And that's why, like, whenever I meet people who are too afraid to fail, I feel really bad for them. Because it's like, when people see me now, they always think that I'm blessed. Everything just falls in my lap. Everything is just so easy. How did I get into this program? It was just literally flapped his wings and landed on you. It's not really that simple. So a lot of times I feel like a lot of people need to realize that just because a successful person, I'm not saying I'm successful in any way, I'm still trying to figure out my own life. I've always had people tell me, you're lucky, you're lucky, you're lucky over and over, but I just don't agree with that. I feel like it's not just luck. I feel like people try to say like, oh, the only reason you're popular, the only reason you're doing well on YouTube, the only reason is because of this or because of this. And it's like, a lot of people don't realize, like, I was literally sitting in a bathroom whispering like this, hi, welcome to my channel, when I was 14. And I was practicing since then. Like, it's crazy how dedicated I was. When people say, oh, you're such a good writer, it's a gift. It's like, I've been writing since I was a little kid. So it's like, I don't know how to explain it. It's like, yeah, it's luck, but at the same time, I just don't think it's fair to just constantly slap the label luck into everything that people do, because it's not always just luck. Like, you just don't see the behind the scenes. You don't see the effort that people put into getting into what they want to do. Your egos get in the way of everything, y'all. Your egos, this identities that you put around yourself. I am smart. So if you're not passing a course, your identity just crumbles and your whole your existence crumbles. So it's like, when you learn how to fail over and over again, you don't attach yourself to anything. You don't call yourself an entertainer. You don't call yourself a comedian. You don't call yourself a videographer. You don't call yourself a writer. You don't call yourself a coder, nothing. Don't call yourself anything, zip it. Just say, hi, my name is your name. I am Asma. Like, what do I want to be when I grow up? I don't know. But my existence is enough. You don't need anything more than your own name to have respect. Literally, like, there are celebrities right now, you're like, why are they famous? Well, because they kind of walk around acting like, you know, they're all that. And it's not arrogance, honestly. It's like, if someone tries to put you down because you don't have a career, if you haven't had enough kids, if you're not married, why? Your existence is all you need in this world. I do a lot of things and I don't attach myself to a label. I don't say, oh, I'm a crocheter. Like, I don't just crochet. I don't just write. I don't just go to school. I'm not just a student. I'm not just a sister. I'm not just anything. I am Asma. That's who I am. And if I fail at something, I don't attach myself to any labels, so I am free. If I don't get into something, I can always try again because I'm not constantly revolving my entire identity on something. I used to constantly ponder over this idea of whether I am an introvert or an extrovert. I'm neither. So when you free yourself of all labels and you free yourself of the fear of failure, that is when life starts to become a lot more like enjoyable. And I hope that knowing that all of my failures kind of makes you feel better about yours, because trust me, I had to go through a lot to become the person I am today. And I'm not happy 100% of where I am right now, but I know I'll always improve. Like, even though I'm 24, I don't have a career yet. I'm obviously living with my parents right now. I'm not making any money. So it's like, there's a lot of things that I'm not really happy about, like 100%, but I know that I'm going to get better. and I know I'm gonna become an amazing person. So it's like, and I'm already amazing, you know? And this isn't arrogance, this is confidence. And ladies, don't let people make you feel like you not hating yourself is arrogance. Like, I don't understand that at all. That's a whole topic for another day. And yeah, that's all I wanted to say in this video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, and I'll catch you in my next one. Bye.